What's up, team? Welcome to the Huddle. We're your weekly playbook where we not only strategize on the game, but changing it. From mastering the fundamentals of the craft to distinguishing ourselves in the marketplace, which is really important today, we are here to give the installer a voice and a leg up in everything you need. Let's band together and create a new legacy in flooring. This is where you belong. So today, we didn't have our fancy music, and things were going haywire before the show, and we just had to call an audible. So sorry you didn't get that.
They like to update the software without letting anyone know.
Yeah, and it sounds like that might be a standard operating procedure in a lot of different platforms, which I'm sure Shannon will share a little bit about that today. So today we're going to be discussing marketing yourself and using social media for this, and how you guys can really, I'm no social media expert. In fact, I'm pretty terrible at it. Shannon is an expert. And so we have an expert on that's going to help us, kind of navigate these waters. So Shannon, can you tell us a little bit about you and your experience in flooring and what you do, and a little bit about Shannon?
Sure. First, thank you so much for having me. I love any opportunity to educate and inspire anybody about the crazy world of social media. So I started out actually going to school to be a therapist, and at the very last minute got rerouted back to the family construction business. And my dad goes, "Hey, what do you think about coming back to small town USA and selling flooring?" And I was like, "No, I'm going to Atlanta and I'm going to wear heels and I'm going to do all the things in this fancy life." And I ended up in construction. It's the best thing that ever happened to me. Worked for, my dad was really, really great at his craft, and I got to learn so many things the right way. And then eventually outgrew small town USA again for the third time. And then went to a bigger city to work for a bigger flooring company, and really found my love and passion for flooring, because everybody has to have one. And why not make it the foundation of your home? Why not make it the thing that makes your house a home and make your home better? So I did retail flooring sales, commercial flooring sales, residential and commercial interior design. And at one point, somebody asked me in 2007 to start the blog for the World Floor Covering Association. And when she called me, she said, "Do you know what a blog is?" And I Googled the answer, and I was like, "Yeah, it's online articles that you put on the internet." And she said, "Well, we're going to do one, and you're the one, because we don't know anybody else that understands design, flooring, and technology." So I said, "Great, we're off to the races." So in 2007, somewhere around there, we got the blog up to 15,000 readers a month, and was like, holy cow, we had no idea that there was this much interest, that people wanted to know. So then that turned into, the company said, "Well, if you can do that, well, can you do this Facebook thing?" And I was like, "It's brand new. Let me figure it out." So then, as each platform came along, I got to figure it out for the flooring industry. And then it finally got to the point where retailers, dealers, manufacturers, installers, everybody, they were like, "How do we do it for ourselves?" And there's a very small percentage that want to do it themselves, which is actually why I have a company, because nobody wants to do it, and nobody understands it, and nobody could figure out, how often that it changes. So when Susie Homeowner broke me because she did not understand that I remember the woman complaining to me, she said that her brass on her floor vents didn't match the brass on her faucets. And I was like, "Lady, what I tell you in the beginning, like, wait until the bathroom is finished, wait till the towels are hanging on the wall, wait till the picture's hanging. And then if you don't like your bathroom, call me. But right now, like, bro, these things aren't even made in the same country. Like, one's not even brass." So anyway, She drove me to look for another opportunity. And then, so I just hitched my wagon to the internet and have been doing this for 15 years. And then recently went out and left the agency I was with because they got purchased, and went out on my own, and just helping the flooring industry one person at a time.
Wonderful. So you're organic flooring person turned social media and marketing expert.
Yes. And what was cool about it was getting to learn it when nobody did it. There was no roadmap. it was just figuring it out. So funny how the universe works and things come around. My background in psychology ended up playing such a big part in meeting with customers for interior design, but it plays a lot in social media because you have to understand what people think, how they think, what they need, and how to serve a message up to them in a mindset where it's not about you. And that's something that I preach all the time to people that are doing their own social media. This is not, what can you say? Buy for me, buy for me, buy for me. This is, you have to think about your customer and think about what they're nervous about and what they need. And you need to hand them the solution in a way that works for them, not in a way that pats you on the back.
So essentially, you're solutionist. That's really
so
what
is that to kick things off for a lot of our audience is installers. We have some companies and even manufacturers that watch the show. But from the installer's perspective, would that be your first piece of advice? Is don't make it about you?
Okay, so I'll say half and half. It depends. If you are an installer that looks at yourself like an artisan and you understand that your personal brand and you work your personal brand, then absolutely it can be about you as well. But first and foremost, I tell people to think about social media like a relationship. And how are we on? Can we do language in a little gray area or?
Yeah. Do whatever you need to.
I tell people to think about, did you walk up to your wife, Paul? Are you married? Did you walk up and say, hey, would you like to get married and have sex the first day?
I would have got slapped, I think.
Exactly. You got to ease into this thing. Like you have to build a relationship. It's truly separate social and media. It is media that first and foremost has to be social. So in a relationship, you have to like ask about us. You have to send us flowers. You have to do all the things. Like you have to keep showing up. So
court your audience a little bit.
You have to court your audience.
You got to woo them. You got to woo them.
About a relationship. So how are you going to get somebody to say, oh my gosh, I have to work with them? Like I will only have them. Crystal's the only one I'll work with. So if you have a personality and you're a kind person and you do good things in the world and you want to promote that part of yourself, then absolutely do, because that tells the whole story. Because your job is to tell a story that somebody can fall in love with and follow. The other thing I'll tell installers is, and I was so waiting for the opportunity to say this. So we get pictures all the time from the installers or from our clients, our retailers, from their installers. And I give them the whole speech about, you got to think about Susie homeowner as your audience, right? So I'm generally most person's Susie homeowner. I'm 46 years old. I can afford to do new floors. I love my home and I want to outdo my friends, right? I'm a woman. So it's what it is. So when
you're a one-upper, you're a one-upper.
Don't want to be, but you got to be. You got it's a dog eat dog.
We got to do it. You got to have the nicest place to drink mimosas.
Thank you. So when I'm scrolling through social, I'm on the couch at 9 o'clock at night in my bathrobe. I've done all my work. I've, done everything with the dogs. Everybody's had dinner, and I'm scrolling through with my iPad in one hand and a glass of wine in one hand, right? So I'm scrolling through and I'm seeing who went out to dinner, who had a baby, who ate a grilled cheese sandwich, right? When your post shows up in my feed, first of all, do not punch me in the face with, I can install hardwood for $1.99. Don't punch me in the face with price. Show me something pretty and then make me want it. After you show me something pretty and make me want it, make me trust you. How do you make me trust you? You either have somebody else say how great you are, because people trust what other people say 80% more than they trust when you say it. So when I talk about telling that story, if you'll go in that order and show me something beautiful that I'm like, oh, I don't have that. That looks new. That looks shiny. That looks better than my neighbor's. I want that. Then I'm like, yeah, but I don't really know, because every woman in their mind has in the back of their head, you're going to come in my house, you're going to take too long, and you're not going to clean up. So if you show me something pretty, then you tell me a bit about yourself, your company, however, it depends on the size that you are. And you tell me that you're going to take care of my home. You're going to get in and get out. You're going to treat me fairly. I'm going to be safe. And you're going to vacuum on the way out. You have my attention. And by the time we go through that whole process, and then you show me maybe a testimonial that says, somebody else said, oh my gosh, they were so great to work with, and it turned out even better than I imagined. I have everything I need to not only pick you, but not argue with you about price, because I want to feel safe. I want to feel secure, and I want to feel like I'm going to get a good job, and you're going to be there for my warranty. That's another thing. People don't want you to think, women don't want to think you're going to come in, make my house a mess, leave, and then drive off.
Not call back.
Yeah. So a couple of tips, like if you have branded swag and you wear that to the door, you're lowering you're lowering her anxiety already 20 points, because it's the right person showing up for the job and you look professional. So that in her mind says they're a good company. They can afford nice swag. So they're going to be there for my warranty. Right. So the soapbox that I get on, so go back to me. I'm in my bathrobe, got my glass of wine. I'm sitting on the couch and I'm inspired now. And I want a new shower, right? I want a new tile shower. And you hear me, and then you submit a picture. And there is a tool laying on the kitchen or the bathroom sink. The toilet lid is up and there's still trash in the corner. You know what you just told me? Not so much. You're not going to clean up.
Yeah.
You're going to break my shit. You're going to leave my house dirty. No thanks. But if you show me a beautiful picture that all I need to see is I don't have that and I want that, and this is where I go get it. So even if you're not a good photographer, please close the toilet lid, move the tools out of the way, or use editing software to erase things, right? Anything that you can do to make it look as good as you can. So that's step number one. You really want to knock somebody out of the park? Take a picture of a 1970s bathroom and do like, before and after when you see for like weight loss supplements or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Girl couldn't look any worse in the beginning and she looks like a supermodel on the other side. It's not really fair that she should have had like on a nice shirt and her hair brushed and her hairbrush.
And she's all sad in the first picture.
She's all sad in the first picture. So go ahead and make that bathroom look as sad as you want. Like, the towel's not straight on the towel bar kind of thing in the before picture. And then take the after picture at the same angle. And all somebody has to do is go, I have that same pink tile. I hate it. And my husband won't fold the towel. Then you see this beautiful light, bright bathroom with the towel properly folded. And I swear to you, she will think, if I buy this tile and upgrade my bathroom, my husband's going to start folding his towel. It's like y'all remember the Stainmaster commercial where the dad was laying on the floor playing with the baby, and every woman in America thought, if I buy Stainmaster carpet, my husband's going to come home. He's not going to go to the bar after work, and he's going to lay on the floor and play with my baby. You have to paint the picture of what you want them to see.
And a lot of this
it's not his baby, though.
It's not like a conscious thought necessarily.
So
I was just saying I missed Jose's joke because I'm over here talking, but a lot of this just subconscious, right? Like it just kind of clicks and they don't even know it. So
that's exactly right.
So can you reiterate one more time in order those most important steps?
Show me something pretty, right? And I'm inspired. Then show me how you work. Show me that you're going to do a good job or that you have a professional presence. And then show me that I can trust you with a review or testimonial. I tell people all the time at social media currency, if you can get a video testimonial, 20 seconds or less from a customer, think about it. If someone writes a testimonial and you type it, it looks good and it really, really helps. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, is that true? Like, did they just make that up? I mean, is that their sister? Is that real?
That's what I was just thinking.
It's still nice if somebody says, oh, I worked with such and such installer and it really, my expectations were exceeded and my shower came out better than I could imagine. If you type that, that's one thing. But when I'm enthusiastically saying that as a happy customer, you can't fake that. And I realize, if you're listening to this, I'm going to throw a lot of information at you that just let 10% of it soak in, figure out one thing that you can implement today. And then when you get comfortable with that, then start adding on the other things. And a lot of this stuff will come back to you once you get going. But somebody told me one time, they said, Shannon, sometimes it's like drinking champagne out of a fire hose with you. Like it's a lot. But I want to give you a ton of information that you can go back and listen to this over and over and get what you need. So,
yeah. So, show me something pretty, proof that you can do it, and then build trust. And then if you're an artisan, you said earlier, you can make it a little bit about you because you're showing more of your product, but you still wouldn't recommend anybody be like, you can have this shower yourself for $5,000 or something. Just show that you the special little things you do. Some of the videos I watch when I'm on Instagram or whatever are when guys are doing little, trinkety things on the tile, like on Schluter metals, or they're doing something special with a carpet seam or a set of stairs or something. That's the kind of stuff that snags me. But from your perspective, showing that before and after, is that enough for an artisan, or should they go further? If you are like really, I know one guy, he was on the podcast last week. He does really pretty much high-end carpet work, right? Jorge. Mm-hmm. And he does
very beautiful,
ridiculous
very beautiful
stuff.
Work.
Yeah, beautiful work. Does he, when he's showing the process, that seems to grab a guy? Like, I want to know how he did it. So like when he's doing the thing, that kind of grabs the guy. But that before and after, or something really beautiful, is kind of the catch to get the main buyer in a home, which is the women, to respond.
I have to be fair. It's not all women. And I don't mean to imply that you shouldn't cater to men and do all those things, because there are a lot of men that are making decisions. But generally, when people are learning this process, it's easier to stick with the Susie homeowner idea.
Totally different mindset.
There's different, but there's also statistics. And I mean, I hate to say it, statistically, flooring purchases, at least the ultimate decision, and usually the kickoff is the female in the house. The woman, makes the final color choices and can talk the husband into the extra money to get what she really wants.
Yeah.
And it's kind of
that's crazy.
We know that's what statistics tell us, but surely there's other ways. I'm just trying to like hone in on when you show a process that's going to grab a guy, and that's probably okay to do as well. If you show that like before and after as well, like maybe on the next slide or vice versa.
So you're going to want to rotate different types of content to tell a story, but to grab different types of people. So I think it's a great idea if you're somebody like Jorge that has been doing it a long time, I assume. And if you do something that sets you apart, think about what your differentiator is. If, I'm a big crystal fan, so I'll use crystal in a lot of examples. Women are typically more meticulous and thoughtful and mindful about detail. I would absolutely, as preferred flooring, I would promote that. I would talk about crystal, and because she's a woman, she pays more attention to specifics and details and things like that. I would say something like you were talking about the carpet seams. I do it short though. Like guys want it this long in a step-by-step process. Women want the little tidbit of, oh, you do it this way because you've been, and you slide in because you've been in business for 30 years. What am I hearing as a woman? You've been doing it a long time. You're not a rookie. You're not going to screw it up, and you're going to be around to service my warranty. So if you are an artist and you can talk about the process and say, this is how I do it differently, or say, this is how they do it at Home Depot or a box store, or this is why, you could do a series on and be, everybody likes funny, everybody likes dogs, and everybody likes babies. I don't recommend bringing a dog or a baby to your install. But if the homeowner's dog walks in, then certainly don't cut that out. But anything that you can do to reinforce that confidence and talk about what sets you apart. And if you aren't comfortable being on video, then just start with your voice. Like let your voice be heard, and just set it up where they can see like part of you working, preferably not your behind in your underwear crack. The other side of you, like maybe your hands working. But anything you can do to show why somebody should pick you. So if you're an individual installer, you're telling a little bit different story than a company that hires installers. So if you are a single person or a small crew and it's your business, you're going to talk about yourself, your business, your differentiators, and drive all of that back to you. The voice for somebody like Preferred Flooring is a little different, where you're going to say, these are our amazing installers, and this is what makes our installers, what sets us apart. And the company's going to take the credit versus the individual person. You can certainly call out your individual installers that have been with you a long time that you think are going to stay. But
100%.
But really, if you'll, just make a mental checklist of, trust and safety and inspiration and education, if you mix those things up, you're going to be successful.
So I'm going to butt in now, finally. Can you guys hear me all right? I'm going to butt in a little bit because I want to go over a lot of what you just talked about. So the 3 Ps: pretty, process, proof, right? That's
I love that.
and then the difference between the men and the women, and I. So you had mentioned something about getting your foot in the door, whether talking about using humor, puppies or babies. Is it okay that I just naturally do that all the time? Like I will plug in a one-liner with a total stranger, and then laugh a little bit and try to gauge where they're at. Nothing inappropriate, obviously, but
You understand, so that's
then I
natural.
would comfort them. Like, no, okay, I'm just playing. That's a joke. No, this is what we do. This is what we're about. And have you looked at the website? No, you haven't. Well, we have it on social media. We have a few projects like that. And you can check it out. And if you see anything else that stands out, just let me know. We're always open to suggestions.
Yeah, don't forget your call to action at the end. And again, if you're overwhelmed at this point, just bear with us because this will come later. But at the end, don't hesitate to say, if you want to see more of my work, check me out over here. If you want to see testimonials, or there's no shame in saying at the end, if you've had a good experience, leave a review on Google. Sometimes it doesn't feel natural to self-promote, but if you think about it like you're helping them help you, then women like to help. So that's okay.
It's totally funny you say that. Just yesterday, I was at a church, looking at a church with another flooring store, large commercial job. And she was like, well, I just kind of want something like this, but I don't really know. So I said, well, pull up our website. We have some pictures of what you're talking about there, maybe to give you some inspiration. And she pulled it up. And she's like, just like that. Yes. And she's like, maybe not those colors, but yeah, that's the right idea. And then she's like, can I go visit these job sites? Can you give me the addresses? I'm like, of course.
So on that note, one of the things that you can do that will blow somebody away is get on Pinterest and build boards that show different areas. So do one that shows showers, one that shows backsplashes, one that shows living rooms, bedrooms. Think about how people shop. Because like if I'm doing a kitchen, I don't care about your bathrooms. I don't want to see a shower. If I'm in a kitchen, I'm in a kitchen mode. So separate those and house all of your install photos. Like it's cool if you pull them up on your phone, but you're scrolling through and then it might pop out, what you ate last Wednesday or your mother-in-law's something or other, or something you might not want people to see. So if you will put it all on Pinterest, if you'll say to the woman, hey, we're gathering ideas for your installation. If you're the salesperson, if we're gathering ideas for your installation, hey, are you on Pinterest? If that girl says she's on Pinterest, you say, can I take a look at your boards? Oh my gosh, yes, you want to look at my boards? And then I say that this is like getting into a woman's panty drawer. You will know if she is a thong or a granny panty in 2 seconds. You will be able to see if she's high end or cheap. You'll be able to see if she's light or dark, coastal or Mediterranean or conservative. You'll be able to see their style and not wear yourself out and not wear her out trying to figure out what they want. So then you look at hers for a minute and you go, would you like to see some of my installs? And first, when you have more than 4, she's going to go, oh, so this isn't your first rodeo? Just the sheer number of them is going to say, I've been in business for a long time. And then you scroll through and she's going to go, man, I mean, this is the made up exaggerative example, but man, I came in here thinking I want a 12 by 12 white tile laid straight. I saw this personal spa retreat. Now I want 4 different tiles. I want, she doesn't know this, but a $60 a foot shower floor. I want a feature strip. I want a bench and a shampoo shelf. And you have all of a sudden taken a $2,000 shower to 10, and you just been on your phone for 5 minutes.
And now she wants the new LED lights in the bathroom.
Yeah, and if you want your own photos, you can still go to all the manufacturers and just repin their stuff and put it on a board for inspiration. You don't have to have done it in order to inspire her.
That's that's a great idea. I
really
never even thought about Pinterest.
That's really good insight. Like going and looking at their Pinterest and getting a feel. And then if you have your Pinterest set up in room by room scene, I think that's if nothing else, that's a great nugget that you guys can do. It's actionable and straight from the horse's mouth as far as what works. So how much, I had a question I wrote down. How much of your own life, like on your company's socials, should you share? Or is it all just like quarantined, company only, or do you show any of you? I mean, we all have usually like a business page, and then we'll have our personal page, and people will go over to the personal page, I assume is kind of the, checking you out kind of thing. But do you recommend any sharing of personal stuff for like a vacation or anything like that, or do you just keep that for your personal thing and leave it alone?
If I don't touch on the vacation thing, make sure I come back to that because that's really important. So if you have a personal profile, you have to think, do I want to be friends with all of my customers? Because that's going to happen. So if you can manage a personal profile and a public, like a business page, do that. If you can't manage both and manage them well, just do the one. If you are comfortable talking about your personal life and don't mind people seeing about your personal life, I mean, what woman doesn't want to connect? It's like when you go to a restaurant, if you know the chef, you're so much happier. Like if you know who made your food. So I think if you put ideally you put a little mix, you tell a good clean story on your personal page. Don't start talking about Jesus politics and complaining about things because nobody wants to work with that person. Keep that to yourself. Go do it somewhere else. You do whatever you want with Jesus and politics. Just don't do it on social. And then on your business page, I would love to follow an installer, especially if I'm trying to decide who I'm going to work with. If I'm looking at installer A and installer B, and installer A's got, tools on the counter and I see, butt cracks and all the things, but over here, I've got inspiration, education, all the things we talked about. And I got to think about this. Like, tell me if this is like an OSHA violation, but like if your daughter stops by to say hi for lunch, or having daughter with your lunch on the break and the kid's cute, or, the wife and I are doing some personal work-life balance. And this is what we did this Saturday. Showing who you are as a human is going to make me connect with you. The vacation thing, everybody deserves to take a vacation. Everybody should take a vacation and everybody should have work-life balance. But if you post that you were in Maui for 14 days, I'm probably going to
think they're paying for it.
Yeah.
I think I just bought you that truck and I just bought you your vacation. At least my part. Like you overcharge me, which it's not true. Anybody that runs a good business should be able to drive the most expensive truck and should be able to go on vacation. All of that is fair, but that's not an American mindset.
Yeah, the perception is definitely not there.
Keep it off or keep it short, probably.
Keep it humble. Just keep it humble. But if you have a cute kid and your partner, wife, spouse agrees that child can be on the internet, then yes, I mean, show a family photo, show that you're, if you're a family guy or, and again, I feel bad because I'm talking about male installers and I know we have female installers, but percentage.
Oh, talk about them, rip them apart.
And I just don't want to be too heavy on one side or the other, but absolutely tell your story. Just find that balance and don't talk too much. Not too much business on your personal and not too much personal on your business. I will also say on your business page, that's not where you need to hustle. Like, that's not where you want to say, come buy from me. Say, I'm proud of my work. Like, I had a really great client that I really enjoyed working with. Or the other thing I'll tell you, I tell installers all the time to go get on social, see what other installers are posting, join some of the flooring groups and see what people are talking about and what they're posting, and look at that and go, oh man, I really like that. I'm going to use that for my social. Or that's terrible. That girl said not to do that. I'm not going to do that. Or, that lighting looks terrible. Maybe I'm going to Google to figure out how to take better pictures. So go see what other people are doing and trust your gut on how that represents you and how you tell your story.
That's great advice there too. Cause I know that I share a lot of my life on my personal, definitely not on the work. Right. But I do a lot of live video feeds for sports events, or short videos, or I share something that I find humorous. And that's just a little bit of insight into like who I am. But I also do troll Facebook for people I know and care about. And I drop a lot of one-liners and then I just leave it at that.
But you're still showing up and being seen. And, back to the baseball thing, like if you post, if you sponsor a little league team or your kid's in little league and you go play, all somebody needs to choose you is a connection. And that connection can be anything from you have colored hair or big, thick glasses, or my kid also plays little league. They know what it's like to have to come home from practice at 9:00 and still be at work at 8:00 the next morning. So
Yeah.
anything that you can do to find that human connection is going to be helpful.
That's awesome. So we've talked about a lot of the best practices. What are the huge don'ts? Like you
Yeah.
kind of touched on the vacation thing, but what are the huge, like, just don't do this? I'll throw one out there that turns me off every single time, and it's particularly in well, actually, it doesn't just have to be in groups. Complaining, like just bitching and moaning about something,
Oh man, you
especially
too? Oh, that
installers
bothers me so
talking
much.
about a customer being a pain in the rear or
Yes.
just anything like
Pause
that
right there.
just turns me off.
Pause right there. Think about, so if I'm Susie Homer on the couch with my wine and my iPad, right? And I see you complaining about a customer, do I want to put myself in a position where you're going to piss and moan and bitch about me?
Yeah.
That's the point. Yeah,
Yeah.
that to me is like the big I mean, I'm no social media expert, but
You don't have to be for that one.
that is like a big don't
Yeah.
to me.
So definitely don't complain. Do not post in all caps. Do not post with, do your capitalization. Put a period at the end of the sentence and put a capital letter to start the thing, because if people see that you can't even punctuate a sentence right, how are you going to get my shower right? If you don't pay attention to those kind of details. Next is don't let ChatGPT write all of your content, because we can all see it now. They have the same pattern. They use the same words. I love the word elevate, but everything ChatGPT spits out has the word elevate in it. And then it puts 2 emojis at the beginning and 2 at the end. So don't use ChatGPT for everything. Don't complain. Don't post pictures that are blurry. If you take pictures or video that
What if you're just that fast and the picture cannot caption you properly?
I was
Saying, just saying.
tell it where
Oh, it's not me. It's not me. Definitely, I've never been in a blurry action picture.
But anything that you can do with an app, like if it's dark, you can lighten it. Don't post pictures of people or home addresses or jobs that you don't have permission. Do not post a picture of someone's child in their home. Do not post a picture of someone wealthy that has a private life. Don't post anything, and you can turn it into a positive. You can say, hey, your shower turned out so great. It's literally my favorite job that I've done this year. Would you mind if I took some pictures? And then you hand them hopefully your card or something that has your social icons on it, and then say, hey, when I post this, we'd love to put this on our website, and we're going to post this on our social, because what's she going to do? She's going to go tell all of her friends, I'm on the internet and they like my project. And then she's going to share it to her personal. Then she's going to share it with her friends. And then her friends are going to say, well, I want something better than that. And I know where to go because I read it on the shirt.
So it's best practice and probably required to get release from the homeowner to post. If it's just a shower that's like your standard 3x5 shower that's non-descriptive of the property, it's probably still best to get release.
I'm a rule follower. I would ask verbally always. I think that's enough 9 times out of 10. You can have somebody sign a release, but I know half the people have already left this conversation. If they hear they have to now take a picture of their stuff, they have to talk to the lady again, and they have to get a waiver. Nobody's doing that. As long as the 3x5 shower, yes, all day long, because that's your work. It could be anybody's. And you literally could say, no, I did that 3 doors down, and nobody knows the difference. But if there's a family picture or the house address or anything that identifies them, some people don't want other people to know that they can afford.
You just don't want your house address posted on someone else's page because you don't have any way to vet anybody or whatever. So that makes complete sense. So does the family photos. So being mindful of that. I think it goes without saying, but you did mention it earlier. Don't get pictures with other people's children. I think that may be up there with complaining on the do not do's.
And that's kind of just weird. I'll be honest. That's a little weird.
And there are things that you know that you have to think about. Like if you take a picture of a woman that is, she wouldn't probably be in witness protection, but if she has an abusive ex-husband that doesn't know where she lived because she packed up and moved the kid and you just exposed them, you don't want to be that person. So just be mindful, and I don't want to scare anybody off. Talk to the person, and 9 times.
Well, these are pretty simple things. I mean, it's not like you're not saying don't take pictures. Just be mindful that. I mean, you see through the camera. Be mindful when you're taking the picture that the towel's straight when you're doing your picture, but also that there's not a family photo up right above it that's going to get captured. And if it does, you know how to remove it. You know how to Photoshop that off, and you do that before posting. It's just being courteous to people's privacy.
Also,
we've been in that situation before. We've actually posted pictures of just the floor, right? Just up close floor. And we're asked to remove it. It's like, we don't have any information. We didn't say where it is, location, family's name. It was, we posted a picture of a very intricate floor that we did. And it was obviously for our portfolio, but also for training purposes and informational purposes. And they were like, take it down. We're going to sue you. I'm like, well, there's no information there.
Yeah.
So I guess go ahead. Like, if someone's going to know where you live by this little picture of a 2 foot by 2 foot area of your floor, then yeah, I guess we would have to take that down, but it didn't make sense.
Yeah. I got 2 other quick things. Don't post any OSHA violations. Like, if you're supposed to do something and you're not doing it in that photo, don't get yourself in trouble. And the other one will have to come back to me.
Well, the OSHA violation one, I have a good story on. I had a guy, I had one of our crews. Have you heard that song? It's like
that's the
OSHA
only thing I can think of.
In a world of OSHA violations.
Parody of Willy Wonka, yeah.
Yeah, so he's hanging on a door. He had spread some glue, and he's hanging on a door and swinging himself out over this glue to the doorway so that he can get out of the room. And not only is it like terrible practice, his fingers could have got caught, whatever. But this got videoed and then posted by his helper. It had, I don't want to misquote, but I think it was 178,000 views in 24 hours. And then it got up to like ridiculous numbers. And then I found out about it. I was like, take that down.
Yeah.
I mean, we should be following the rules, guys. And we do. We have a very strict, I feel like I got to say this. We have very strict safety policy, but people are people and they make mistakes, and you just don't want to post them out there in the world. But that was one where it went viral so quick. Had we left that up, it would have had millions of views within a week.
And that's not
probably the equivalent to the Crystal jumping over the glue video. It's like
or when Jeremy recorded that pipe burst, and then the job boss came up after I already posted it, and he was like, "Hey, don't post that anywhere.
Take it down."
That's a good thing, and maybe that's a question for you, Shannon. Is like, how long does someone have after they post something to remove it before it can be shared by someone else's account? And then like
there's your answer.
You have no time.
Okay.
You have 0 time, because you don't know that. I'll give you an extreme example, that somebody, like if I'm videoing the kid opening the refrigerator door back and forth because I think it's funny, and I happen to have left my computer open and that thing was on it and it was in the video, you might have taken it down, but it's still running around from some other source, and somebody's going to sell it even more and say, look what I caught, kind of thing. I know nobody's going to sell it. Okay. You have no time. So slow down, read everything that you post. And before you hit post, stop and think for 1 second. And if you say to yourself, this doesn't feel right, don't do it. Or just take a minute and go, maybe I don't want to take this risk. I remember the other thing. The other thing you don't want to do is do not steal photos from architects or designers. They will cut you. If you want to post a picture of your work that they hired a professional photographer and they paid the money, they'll probably let you use it. You just need to give them and the photographer credit. But just because you installed it doesn't mean you own that picture. Whoever took the picture owns it.
I feel like that's happened to us or somebody pretty close to us at one point. Somebody's picture was used on somebody else's profile.
I will tell you a quick story of being at a conference, and to piggyback on that is make sure you don't steal other people's work. Now, I think that goes without saying, but we actually had a guy that me and another gentleman at Carrera was talking to that had just finished a conversation with a gentleman, and this guy was showing him pictures of work that he had done, supposedly. Just so happens it was that guy's install. And that guy called him out right then.
My goodness.
But didn't just call him out. It was like, oh, really? That's a really intricate medallion. It was a wood floor. How did you do this part here? And he was like, oh, well, I did this and that. And he's like, well, what about this over here? And he's like, oh, I did. And he says, dude, you didn't do any of that. I custom made that metal insert myself at my shop.
Wow.
So don't use anybody else's stuff, because you when you get caught like that, I'm sure nothing feels worse. I have one more question that I had on my list to make sure I asked.
Can we back up 1 second, Paul?
Yes.
Stealing thing. Don't steal pictures from Google either, because there are little bots and things on the back end that you will get a letter and a lawsuit. You do not own that image just because you saw it.
Amen. All good stuff. So the last question I had was consistency. So is there a consistency in timing? Is there a better time to post than others? And what type of consistency should people, is there a cadence to this thing? Or does that change on per platform, or best practice? Just round us out this whole awesome, podcast with that kind of nugget.
So the great news is that the data will tell you the answers. Okay. So I first tell people, do the best you can, do what you can do well. Most people, I say, post 3 times a week. But if you can only post once a week, I'd rather you do 1 really great post than 3 half-ass posts. If you can't do 1 a week and you can only do 2 a month, you're still showing up. You're not going anywhere. You're not, the algorithm's not going to kiss you on the forehead, but you're still showing up. If you can't do 2 posts a month, I probably wouldn't get on social. And only get on the platforms that you can get on and manage well. If you use software, a lot of times the software will tell you the best day and time to post. If you use Meta Business Suite, it will tell you the best day and time to post for your audience. But also, don't Google it, because if you Google it, you're going to get the answer to the person that's trying to sell you something. Use common sense. So go back to me in the bathroom and the wine and 9 o'clock on the couch, right? When I'm at 9 o'clock, my head is clear. I'm in a good mood. I got a slight buzz. You show me something pretty and my head is not cloudy. If you show me a pretty shower at 9 o'clock in the morning, maybe I think about it all day. But typically, as a rule, consistently in this industry, if you will post at something 50, 10 minutes to the top of the hour, think about it. When you, like right before this podcast started, you were doing something else, right? But you had to end right before. What were you doing in those 10 minutes? Most people are on social media. So if you do it around lunchtime at 10 minutes till the top of the hour, if you were asking a question, which is another good thing to add to your strategy, even if you don't care about the answer, ask questions like, which do you prefer? This light or dark, left or right, this shower, this installation. If you'll do that on a Saturday, you're more likely to get more interaction and engagement. But use common sense of when the person on the other end wants to receive this information. The last thing I'll tell you that we know for sure is if you're posting on LinkedIn, that, by the way, is not just a platform if you're looking for a job or for hiring. It is the place that you go for business only information. So your builders are there. That's where all the business conversation is. You don't want to post more than 2 times a week on LinkedIn. And the best times overall are 7 a.m. and 4 p.m. So if you think about it, people get to work and they see what's going on, just like they check the news. And then everybody's brain's checked out at 4 o'clock and they're ready to go home. So they're on social. But let your data do the talking. Look at your reports and look at your insights. And if it shows that nobody clicked on anything, if you post Thursday at noon, stop posting Thursday at noon.
Yeah.
But try to use some common sense about what the content is and who's receiving it on the other end.
Yeah, that's good stuff. I mean, just best practices. It's funny. Quality over quantity, folks. Same thing as flooring. Like quality over quantity and consistency. 2 times a week of quality is better than 5 times a week of not as quality, not as well formulated posting, right? And also that top of the hour thing is super accurate, and I never thought of that. So that's another one of them things that, we hope the audience really pays attention to, because it makes complete sense and it happens all the time. Usually when I go to lunch or go to eat and I come back to my office, and if I'm like 5-10 minutes before, my little half hour I take, I sit in my truck and I'll be on social in some manner. So it makes a heck of a lot of sense. That's really good insight. So we are rounding out the podcast. I have to be off of here myself pretty quick. So if I leave, the guys will close it out. But I did want to go around and see if there's any questions or final insights from anybody.
I think my favorite thing about today is that it's about social media, and we couldn't get it on any social platforms today.
I think you guys. So I don't know if you can see that, Shannon, but there's a whole conversation going on both sides of the screen here. But I was doing my best not to get distracted.
It's just it did not, for whatever reason. And Daniel's he disappeared for a moment trying to solve the problem. But we typically go live and we'll have 20 participants and be showing their comments and such. And today our platform decided to not go live and couldn't figure that out, but we'll get it posted on there, and it's okay. Everybody will see this.
It's okay. They blamed it on us.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Well,
it happens.
Such is the world of technology. Sometimes it doesn't work perfectly. So that's great, Daniel. Thank you. What else, guys? Do you have any other questions? Because Shannon, the way you delivered all that information was like, every time I leaned over, I was taking notes, because we do a lot of social, and to me, these things actually are actionable things that we can all do to improve our businesses. So if you guys aren't taking notes, and you're not watching this, I know, but you will be.
Or you can just
watch this episode
hire Shannon
again,
to do it.
There's a lot of really insightful, important information. So
I do have one other little tidbit that's easy to execute. If you have a company van or a truck that you show up with, put the Facebook and Instagram, whatever sites you're on, put those on the back of your truck, and so people can follow you. It's a easy thing to do, that anytime they see your truck and your name, people will do what they're told. And anybody right now, I watch this all the time. It doesn't matter what the QR code is for, people will scan it. So if you have a
QR's made a huge comeback. They've been around forever.
I hope
everybody thought they were worthless, and now they're awesome.
QR code owes
That's
COVID.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
You want to know what's funny is a lot of the things that you've mentioned here today is we've kind of done on accident, to be honest with you. Like, we just thought that, hey, let's just do this. Hey, let's just do this. Didn't realize that we were following some kind of it's not a set list, right? But we were following a progression list, and by the way, shout out to your vest today. Thank you for the support. And that was going to go with the question I had is, depending on the size and what you're trying to do, what are thoughts on branding and trying to go through making sure that your brand is protected if you're on socials? Is that something that should be done? Is that something is all individualized?
Protected how? Like somebody's using your content or your name, or
let's just say the logo. Like say somebody's using the logo or uses a very similar name to kind of gain the attention of that one company. And the reason I say that is a thing that I used a while ago on like TikTok is I started hashtagging everything that was popular in the media at the time, and it was getting a lot of traction over to my personal TikTok. But I was like hashtagging like the Johnny Depp thing and Milwaukee tools, and I started noticing I was getting a lot of traffic that I necessarily didn't need or want. I just wanted to see if it would work, and it did.
So yes, it works, but that traffic you're getting is not quality traffic.
Correct.
And I'm going to unfollow you if I see that, because if I want to go see what's going on with Johnny Depp, I want to see all Johnny Depp. And if I see anything else, I'm like, you just wasted my time. You just tricked me, and now I don't trust you. So
it was puppies. It was puppies. I had pictures of puppies.
I mean,
videos.
You do get
I'm
hashtag.
gonna butt in just super quick. I gotta go. I got a 4 o'clock. Thank you, Shannon. I'm not gonna shut down. I'm just gonna leave into my office. And it was a pleasure having you on. And I learned a ton. So if you guys like the content and the podcast, please consider giving us a like and subscribe. It's the best way to support us. And you guys can close it out. I appreciate it. Thank you guys.
Right,
and
thanks,
I
Paul.
will see you guys next week. Thanks, Shannon.
Thanks for all the great questions.